Jaws and claws. Deep beneath the Indian Ocean, in a place where sunlight has never touched, there exists a creature unlike any other on Earth. Here, at nearly 2 miles below the waves, the pressure is crushing, the water scalding hot, and life is rare. But in this alien world, there is a snail. Not an ordinary snail, but one clad in a suit of iron. It is called the Scaly-foot Snail, also known as the Volcano snail, or if you prefer its scientific name, Chrysomellion squamiferum. This tiny animal, no bigger than a golf ball, may just be the most extraordinary mollusk alive today. Crazy facts we'll explore. It does not eat food. It thrives in water hot enough to melt lead. And it carries armor made of metal, the only known creature on Earth to do so. But how does a snail forge an iron shield? How and why did it develop such extreme protection? And what secrets can this strange animal reveal about the history of life itself? Stay with us, because the story of the Scaly-foot Snail is not only about survival in the harshest conditions on our planet, it is also about fragility, mystery, and a battle for survival against the most dangerous predator of all, us. The world first learned of this animal in 2001, when scientists exploring the ocean floor discovered a bizarre snail living among the hydrothermal vents of the Indian Ocean. These vents, sometimes called black smokers, spew superheated water loaded with minerals straight from the Earth's crust. Temperatures here can soar past 750 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than any animal should be able to endure. And yet, clustered around these vents, like flourishes. Giant tube worms, venomous snails, strange crabs, and among them, this peculiar armored mollusk. By 2003, it had been given a scientific name, but it wasn't until 2015 that its formal description was published. Even then, scientists admitted they had never seen anything like it. At first glance, the Scaly-foot Snail doesn't look like much. It measures only about 3 to 4 centimeters tall, barely over an inch. Its shell is rounded, dark, and rather plain compared to the intricate spirals of garden snails. But look closer and you notice something unusual. Covering the snail's fleshy foot, the part it uses to crawl, are hundreds of tiny scales, each shaped like a miniature shield. These are called scerites. They give the snail its nickname, the scaly foot. But here's the astonishing part. These scales are not just hardened skin. They're infused with iron sulfide compounds, real metallic minerals including pyrite, better known as fool's gold, and greigite, a magnetic mineral similar to magnetite. In other words, this snail literally grows metal armor. Even its shell is unique. It is a 3-layered masterpiece of natural engineering. An outer layer of iron sulfide, giving it unmatched strength. A middle organic layer, which absorbs shocks and dissipates heat. And an inner layer of aragonite, a crystalline form of calcium carbonate, which provides structural support. Together, these layers create one of the toughest biological armors known to science. So effective that engineers have studied it as inspiration for designing stronger protective materials. No other animal in the world, living or extinct, is known to incorporate iron into its skeleton. The Scaly-foot Snail stands alone. But why would a snail need armor made of iron? To answer that, we need to understand its home. The Scaly-foot Snail lives only in 3 places on Earth: the chiral hydrothermal vent field near the Rodriguez Triple Junction, the Solitaire vent field, and the Long Key vent field, also known as Dragon's Breath, located along a slow-spreading ridge in the Indian Ocean. Each of these sites are tiny. The total area of its habitat has been estimated at just 67 acres. To put that into perspective, the entire global population of this species lives in an area smaller than most city parks. The vents here pump out mineral-rich fluids at extreme heat and pressure. Surrounding them are complete ecosystems built not on sunlight, but on chemistry. Instead of plants harnessing sunlight for photosynthesis, bacteria harness sulfur and minerals for chemosynthesis. These bacteria form the base of the food web, and for the Scaly-foot Snail, they are far more than just food. Unlike almost every other animal on Earth, the Scaly-foot Snail does not eat in the way we think of it. It has no need to graze, hunt, or even chew. Instead, it has developed a remarkable partnership with symbiotic bacteria that live inside its body. Inside the snail's throat lies a specialized structure called the esophageal gland. This gland is enormous compared to other snails, up to 1,000 times larger. Within it, trillions of bacteria thrive. These microbes take in sulfur from the vent fluids and, through a process called chemosynthesis, convert it to energy. The snail in turn feeds off this energy. In a sense, the scaly-foot snail is not a simple creature at all, but a fusion of animal and bacteria locked in one of nature's most extreme symbioses. To support this microbial life, the snail has evolved a disproportionately large heart, about 4% of its body volume. For comparison, the human heart is less than 0.3% of our body mass. This oversized heart pumps oxygen-rich blood through the snail's tissues, ensuring its bacterial partners have everything they need to keep producing energy. It's as if the snail has become a walking life support system for its microbes. In return, the bacteria keep it alive without the need for a mouthful of food. So we return to the question, why metal armor? Predators lurk even here in the dark. Crabs and other snails prowl the vent fields, ready to crack open soft-bodied animals. For the scaly-foot snail, its iron scales and fortified shell provide a near impenetrable defense. A study in 2010 showed that its shell is uniquely resistant to fractures. When struck, the outer metallic layer absorbs the blow, the middle layer disperses the force, and the inner layer protects cracking. It is armor so effective that some researchers suggest it could inspire new designs for military armor or body protection. But scientists also wonder if the iron armor plays another role. Perhaps it helps the snail withstand the searing heat and corrosive chemicals of the vents. Perhaps the scales even act as detoxifiers, storing harmful compounds safely away from the snail's organs. The truth is, we don't know. The scaly-foot snail remains full of mysteries. In many ways, this animal is a living relic. Genetic studies suggest that the genes controlling its scales and shell date back over 500 million years, to the Cambrian period, a time when armored animals of all shapes and sizes first appeared in Earth's oceans. Back then, mineralized armor was far more common, but over millions of years, most lineages abandoned it. The scaly-foot snail, it seems, has held on to this ancient strategy, a tiny survivor of a long-forgotten evolutionary experiment. What about its day-to-day life? Here, knowledge grows thin. The scaly-foot snail is a simultaneous hermaphrodite, meaning each individual carries both male and female reproductive organs. This allows it to reproduce even in the sparse, isolated populations of the deep sea. It lays eggs that rely on yolk sacs for nourishment, and scientists suspect the young may go through a larval stage before settling near a vent. As for lifespan, we don't know. Most sea snails can live for a decade or more, but in the crushing dark of the abyss, the scaly-foot's true longevity remains a mystery. One might imagine that living 2 miles beneath the ocean surface would protect a species from human impact. Unfortunately, this is not the case. The same vents that provide the snail with its home are rich in minerals coveted by humans: copper, cobalt, rare earth elements. As demand grows for electronics and renewable technologies, deep-sea mining companies have set their sights on these hydrothermal fields. In 2018, the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) officially listed the scaly-foot snail as endangered. Mining rights have already been sold in some of the very areas where it lives, particularly to companies from Germany and China. Given how slowly these ecosystems recover, any disturbance could wipe out entire populations, perhaps forever. So the iron snail that has withstood boiling seas, crushing pressure, and 500 million years of evolution may be undone not by predators or climate, but by drills and greed. The scaly-foot snail is one of the strangest creatures on our planet. It is armored in iron, yet no larger than your thumb. It has a heart proportionally larger than ours, yet it doesn't eat at all. It survives in the most extreme environments known to science, yet it may not survive us. In its iron scales and armored shell, we glimpse both the resilience of life and its fragility. The scaly-foot snail reminds us that even in the darkest depths, evolution creates wonders beyond imagination. But it also reminds us of our responsibility. These snails have endured for millions of years. Whether they endure for millions more may depend entirely on what we choose to do next. If you found the story of the scaly-foot snail as fascinating as we did, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the extraordinary lives of Earth's creatures. Leave a comment with the strangest animal adaptation you've ever heard of, and let's keep exploring this remarkable planet together. From jaws and claws and iron scales, we'll see you next week.